What's up, everyone? I already made a video similar to this where it's kind of a big overview on Discipline Priest and Mythic Plus and kind of went over my character in game, looking at my gear, my talent, my essences and all that. But this time I decided to make that kind of same video but break them down into smaller videos and kind of make it a little more intimate. So this first video of the series for my Discipline Priest in-depth for Mythic Plus is geared toward 15 key, level 15s and above. Because 15 is kind of seen as by the general public where that's kind of where it matters more, that the spec you're playing, the talent you're running, the stats you have, all that kind of happens around 15, especially if you're still new to Mythic Plus. People like myself and a bunch of other people who are on the higher end of keys, 15s are a cakewalk. But that just comes with practice and time and just running keys over and over and over again. I'm by no means a top tier player. I just been pushing in season 4 and probably like 95% of my runs have been pug groups, and I'm at 2600 IO, 2613 I think it is exactly. So that's 4 19s in time, 4 17s in time, and the rest are 18s in time. So I feel pretty comfortable making videos like this now because I feel like I've been through the stuff, so to speak, to kind of make videos like this, I guess. So this video is geared more to talents and your talent tree and which talents to pick depending on what week you're dealing with and it fixes. So first I want to read each talent in each row. Castigation. Penance fires 1 additional bolt of Holy Light over its duration. Twist of Fate. After healing a target below 35% health, you deal 20% increased damage and 20% increased healing for 10 seconds. Schism. Attack the enemy's soul with a surge of shadow energy, dealing X amount of shadow damage and increasing spell damage to the target by 40% for 9 seconds. Level 30 talent. Body and Soul. Power Word Shield and Leap of Faith increase the target's movement speed by 40% for 3 seconds. Masochism. When you cast Shadow Man on yourself, this damage over time effect heals you instead and reduces all damage you take by 10%. Angelic Feather. Places a feather at the target location, granting the first ally to walk through it 40% increased movement speed for 5 seconds. Only 3 feathers can be placed at one time. 45 Pro. Shield Discipline. When your Power Word Shield is completely absorbed, you restore 0.5% of your maximum mana. Mindbender. Summons a Mindbender to attack the target for 12 seconds. You regenerate 0.5% of maximum mana each time the Mindbender attacks. Power Word Solace. Strikes an enemy with heavenly power, dealing X amount of holy damage and restoring 1% of your mana or maximum mana. Level 60 row. Psychic Voice reduces the cooldown of Psychic Stream by 30 seconds. Dominant Mind. You may also control your own character while Mind Control is active, but Mind Control has a 2-minute cooldown and it may not be used against players. Shining Force creates a burst of light around a friendly target, knocking away nearby enemies and slowing their movement speed by 70% for 3 seconds. Level 75 row. Sins of the Many. Your damage is increased by up to 12%, diminishing for each ally affected by your atonement. Contrition. When you heal with Penance, everyone with your atonement is healed for X amount. Shadow Covenant. Draws on the power of Shadow to heal the target and 4 injured allies within 30 yards for X amount, but leaves a shell on them that absorbs the next X amount of healing they receive within 6 seconds. Level 90 row. Purge of the Wicked. Cleanses the target with fire, causing X amount of fire damage and an additional X amount of fire damage over 20 seconds. Spreads to an additional nearby enemy when you cast Penance on the target. Divine Star. Throw a Divine Star forward 24 yards, healing allies in its path for X amount and dealing X amount of holy damage to enemies. After reaching its destination, the Divine Star returns to you, healing allies and damaging enemies in its path again. Halo. Creates a ring of holy energy around you that quickly expands for 30-yard radius, healing allies for X amount and dealing X amount of holy damage to enemies. Last but not least, the level 100 row. Lenience. Atonement reduces damage taken by 3%. Luminous Barrier. Create a shield on all allies within 40 yards, absorbing X amount of damage on each of them for 10 seconds. Evangelism. Extends the duration of all your active atonements by 6 seconds. So going all the way back to the top, level 15 row, let's go a little bit deeper. Castigation is almost never played by pretty much anyone doing keys at 15 or higher. It's not like terrible, but when you have Twist of Fate and Schism in the same row, it's just really not the play. So if you can play whatever you want. Let me put that disclaimer out there. This is by no means the go-to talent setup, especially with the new Corruption out in Season 4 and the Vendor. There's a lot of like different people coming up with these different builds and making them work. So I'm sure there's a way you can make Castigation fit into your Discipline Priest setup. If you do, I'd love to see it. So that'd be cool. I personally do not play Castigation. I know more of the top tier Discipline Priests also do not play Castigation. Twist of Fate and Schism are pretty much your go-to. Twist of Fate is your training wheel, so to speak, when you're first like learning Discipline Priest. But once you get more comfortable, you figure out when to Schism, who to Schism, and how you get the most value out of Schism. Schism is kind of like the default choice. It also helps with, it's pretty much like you have priority target in every single mod pack, or just single target on the boss. Like Schism is, that's it, that's the go-to. Twist of Fate is more often played in the upper tiers of like 19s, 20s when you're playing in Tyrannical usually, because there are just some bosses that they just do a lot of damage that you cannot be avoided. So your Twist of Fate uptime is going to be a lot more up, I guess, during boss fights than it will be throughout the rest of the run. But those times you are benefiting from Twist of Fate is usually what pushes you through those like tough healing bosses. Schism can be played, but you're kind of like you're straining yourself more. Twist of Fate's like nice, it's a passive. Someone's got Spit Gold on them in King's Rest, and they're getting chunked right now. I'm at a 20 Tyrannical. They're getting chunked. Like I went through my Rapture, I went through my Barrier, I went through my Pain Suppression on other people, and now like they're getting chunked. I'm spamming Shadow Man, but it's not working. So Twist of Fate's gonna pop in and help you heal them off and help you deal with that. Schism, if your Schism's on cooldown while you're playing that, like you're kind of just, what do I do, right? So Twist of Fate, if you're looking at those 19s and 20s and above, in most Tyrannical situations. Sometimes you can use it in Fortified. I normally don't. I like Schism. And then Schism, like I was saying earlier, it's kind of like just that go-to. Put it on the primary target that you want dead first. Smite the crap out of them after you did your Powered Solace and you did your Penance on them. They're already ticking with that dot damage of Purge the Wicked. Smite, 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 and you're going to get a lot of healing output, and those 9-second Schism is on that target. So the level 30, well yeah, that's it for my level 15 row. Schism's more my go-to. Twist of Fate does have its plays. Twist of Fate's kind of like that. I want some training wheels on. I'm still kind of learning, or I'm in a higher key level that I normally don't play, and I want to feel more comfortable, so I'm going Twist of Fate. My level 30 row, Body and Soul is usually my go-to. This is a preference for me. I just like being able to make the whole party faster while we're running from pack to pack by putting shield on everyone, so they run faster for a little bit. And that usually helps out players that don't have like the best mobility, like such as myself. Masochism is a very good play, similar where Twist of Fate is a good play, but Masochism only works on yourself. So you can kind of save yourself a cooldown. Like if you get targeted with something that's chunks damage, if you're playing Masochism, you can Shadow Man on yourself and help reduce some of that damage that you're about to take, and not have to spend a cooldown on yourself. Angelic Feather is another good play. I ran it with a macro that I just targeted right at my feet because it was a lot easier for me. So those level 30 rows, 2 of them are speed boost. One of them is kind of a minor personal cooldown. Play whichever you want. Level 45 talent row. This one is kind of locked into Powered Solace in my opinion. Shield Discipline, I don't think I've ever talented into it. I mean, just when you're not doing damage with Shield Discipline. Mindbender, you're doing more damage. Powered Solace, you're also doing more damage. Shield Discipline, you can try it if you want, but you're kind of losing the Discipline Priest aspect of it where you do damage to heal. So if you're taking away a whole nother button that is going to do damage and heal, you're kind of like taking away from yourself, I guess. You're doing a lot more of just like, I'm just going to heal as a discipline priest instead of trying to provide damage also. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot with that. Mindbender I did play at the beginning of Season 4 because they nerfed Power with Solace in Season 4. But after playing around with Mindbender and Vision of Perfection Minor, it was up maybe like every 40 seconds or so, which is not bad, but it does suck when you're in more tight dungeons where the mob pulls are like, you're pulling a pack every 20 seconds or so, so there might be a pack you're using Mindbender, and then on pack you're not getting anything out of it. So it's kind of like, why do you have a nice skill bar? Power Solace, you get it multiple times in a pack, and you get it from pack to pack. So that's why I picked Power Solace, even in its nerfed state, it's still very good. Level 60 talent row. This is kind of like your CC talent row. Psychic Voice reduces the cooldown of Psychic 3 by 30 seconds. That's a pretty good play, but I like having like more control instead of whatever control I have, the CD reduced. I prefer more control. Dominant Mind, I've never seen this one used. I can't really think of a place you would use it. Maybe there's some really interesting plays out there you can make with it, and if you guys know of one or can think of one, let me know. That'd be awesome to see. But my go-to, and most priests that I've seen playing, this is their go-to also, just having a fear and a knockback is just like valuable to me instead of having a fear on a shorter cooldown. Especially since Shining Force can't be targeted on a friendly player. So if you see your tank trying to kite for his life, and let's say you have the last cooldown, boom, Shining Force on him, push the mobs back, slow them for 3 seconds, and the tank can safely get away. Like, that's a big play. Instead of like, oh shit, let me run up to the melee and try and Psychic Voice or fear them. This is why I prefer Shining Force. Level 75 talent row, this is kind of a lock for Sins of the Many in my opinion, because you're always benefiting it from it. Even if you had 20 atonements out, you're still getting, I think it's a 3%, it doesn't go lower than 3% damage increase. So Sins of the Many is a very, very good play, especially because if you just have 1 atonement out, you don't lose. It does not diminish, you're still at 12%, but if you have 2, then it goes down to like 10, I think, and then 3 goes down to like 9 or something like that. So this is just like, in my opinion, the play, because Discipline Priest wants to do damage in order to heal, and they want to do a lot of damage so they can heal a lot. So this is, in my opinion, is just a lock for it. Contrition, they actually buffed it in Season 4, and I'm not sure why. This is, again, like, you can play Contrition, you can play Shield Discipline, you can play Castigation, and maybe go for like a full healing throughput build. But I mean, maybe you're just doing like Holy Priest damage at that point, and you're kind of just not even being a Discipline Priest anymore. But that's just like, it's just all my opinion. I don't really see the use for Contrition. It would be good for AoE, but it's just not enough either. Like, it does not do enough healing in AoE situations to kind of like warrant bringing it. Shadow Covenant is also like similar to Twist of Fate, where it might be your training wheels, because you're new to Discipline, and you're seeing all your whole team's health go down, and you want that. Let me click this button to do AoE healing. That's Shadow Covenant. But as you get to the 15s that this video is geared for, and the series is geared for, you hopefully will be leaning away from Shadow Covenant. I know some people still play it in bursting weeks just to give them that little extra, like, alright, I can Shadow Covenant on a burst. That way it kind of gives me some more time to get my atonements out again. That's perfectly fine. I prefer Sins of the Many, and I know more other higher Discipline priests than I am prefer Sins of the Many as well. Purge, the Wicked, in the level 90 row is also a lock in my opinion. You are getting your dots out more efficiently by dotting and then penanting that same target, so now you save yourself a cooldown for putting a dot on another mob that does more damage than Shadow Word Pain, and it lasts longer. It's just overall way better than Shadow Word Pain, and to me this is just a lock. Like, I shouldn't even read Divine Star in Halo, but Divine Star, like, you can play it. It might be better for, you want that one button to do a good amount of AoE and healing, but everyone has to be in a line, so it's kind of tough to play around. Halo is kind of, it is AoE also, but it's sometimes like, you might be in a tight spot where that next mob pull is about 28 yards away, and you press it and then you just pull that mob. And now you're like, oh shit, I tried to heal everyone, I tried to do more damage, and now I just pulled someone. In my opinion, Purge the Wicked is Eco 2. If you, for whatever reason, don't like Purge the Wicked, Divine Star. But Halo and Mythic Plus, it's just a big no-no coming from me. The last talent row, Lenience, again, is another just locked in for Mythic Plus. It's just a permanent damage reduction as long as that person has Atonement. 3% may not sound like a lot, but 3% is better than 0%. It's better than a 3-mana cooldown from Luminous Barrier that doesn't even absorb that much. So if a big hit's coming in from, let's say, the whole team and Kragmaw on a Tantrum, I'm Luminous Barrier, boom. Okay, it tickled, you know, like it didn't do as much. Like your meters might look really good, but is everyone gonna live through it? Who knows, maybe live through that one, but now you're dealing with 2 Tantrums or 3 Tantrums in one Kragmaw pull, and now you have nothing for it. So Lenience will always be there for you. Evangelism, I thought about playing it in Mythic Plus, but never tried it. This is more of the raid talent. So this right here, what I have selected, in my opinion, are your locked in keys, or you're locked in for your keys. This is another setup. Well, this is just like really personal preference. These two, you can do Twist of Fate. You can do this one if you're okay with having some packs where you won't benefit from it at all. This one, I'm just gonna stick with that. That's pretty much it. So when I'm looking at keys personally, and I do 18s and 19s now, I'm trying to progress all my keys to 18s, all my keys after that to 19s. I have 4 19s, like 8 18s and 4 17s or something like that in time. But so when I look at each dungeon, this is the only things that change. Schism and Twist of Fate. Everything else to me is just a lock. Maybe one of these is what I would change in maybe Tyrannical when I'm getting targeted by a boss that I can't do anything for, or I want an extra cooldown for myself. I'll play Mass Schism. But other than that, like, these are the only 2 I swap back and forth with. So going over the affixes, we are in Season 4, which is the Awakened here. Whoops, don't want that. Whoops, don't want that. There we go. So in 2 keys and higher, you get Tyrannical and Fortified. So the level 4 and higher, you get Bursting, Teaming, Bolstering, Raging, and Sanguine. So Bursting is very easy to deal with Twist of Fate. If you have, you're probably gonna proc it a lot during Bursting weeks, honestly, and make you feel more safe. But I still prefer Schism and Bursting weeks because as a discipline priest, I've played plenty of keys to realize I need something to hit to heal through this. And let's say all 5 of that mob just died. All 5 of the mobs in that pack just died. Boom, we're hit with a 5 burst, and then everyone's just kind of standing around. So if that happens, I Schism my next target, which is another mob pull that I know we're gonna pull. Boom, Schism, Purge the Wicked, go into my damage rotation on that Schism target, and then I'm healing right through Bursting like it's nothing. And we're moving faster. We're not waiting for me to heal through. We're not all standing still for me to get mana afterwards. Like, I'm healing right through it. Like, there's no downtime when I play Schism. The same can be said for Twist of Fate, honestly. But like I said, I just like that Schism. I prefer Schism usually. Teaming, this doesn't really affect your talent setup as much. Bolstering, it can affect your talent setup if your team cannot handle bolstering very well for whatever reason, or if there's you're running a dungeon like Siege of Borealis, where sometimes they're just little mobs that for some reason still when they die they do on-death affixes, whereas some other dungeons don't, which is super unfortunate that Blizzard is letting that go, but I don't think they're going to change it anytime soon. So the bolstering you could benefit from it using Twist of Fate, because maybe you bolstered a big mob who's already strong, and now he's bolstered by like 5 times. Now he's just chunking people left and right. But the same can be said for Schism. Schism, you as a discipline priest, you kind of should know what mob is dangerous, what mob does the most damage, or they're going to be the most problematic for you as a healer, and what's going to be harder for the whole team. So you could put Schism on that hard mob, try and burn him down as fast as you can, and that way that person does not get bolstered. So Schisms can help you in that effect also. Raging. Same thing can be said for Raging or for Twist of Fate and Schism. It really depends on your team. I'll still play Schism during Raging weeks, because if a mob, let's say there's just one mob, and he's at 30% health or less, and he's raged, and we don't have a hunter or a druid to soothe, so I'm going to put my Schism on that mob. Even if I don't get the full 9 seconds out of it, I know I'm killing that mob much faster, and now I'm doing a lot less damage to my team. So I'll play Schism there. Or you can play Twist of Fate, and that one mob who is in rage, or several mobs that are raged, and they're just chunking your team left and right, you're getting Twist of Fate proc. So there's some play to be said for both of them. Sanguine is another one where you can benefit from Twist of Fate here if your team is dumb and they're just standing in Sanguine for some reason. But yeah, usually only both bursting, bolster, and raging is kind of where I look. Do I want to change to Twist of Fate, Schism? Normally I play with Schism no matter what. So then we're at 7 keys and higher. We got Skittish, Quaking, Grievous, Necrotic, Explosive, and Volcanic. Oh, Overflowing? No, that's not here anymore. So, Skittish, does not matter what you play. Quaking. This might be old actually, because Quaking does not do damage to you unless you're stacked with someone else with Quaking. So the change to Quaking was such a godsend, such a blessing. It was like before, Quaking was just like, I almost didn't play Quaking weeks because it was just so annoying to deal with. But now with Quaking being what it is now currently, where if everyone's getting Quake, as long as you're not in each other's circle, no one's taking damage, but you still get interrupted if you try and cast during it. That's easily avoidable. Grievous, this one, you can play both Twist of Fate or Schism. It's really everything I'm saying is really based on opinion, and you're going to watch this video and make your own opinion on it and whatever feels most comfortable for you. If I'm to give you like a too long didn't read, Schism is a play like if you know how to play it well. Like you probably get more benefit out of Schism than you will with Twist of Fate. So if I see people getting hit with Grievous, and I got some people taking 1 stack of Grievous, maybe they got another stack of Grievous, even with Schism still, like I'm gonna put that on my highest health target, get the most out of it. Like I'll just fully funnel into that Schism target, Smite, Penance, Solace, all on cooldown, and just try and heal right through the Grievous, which does help, and you can do it. But if you want those training wheels, you want the Twist of Fate where you're like, I don't know who is my primary target, I don't know who's gonna live the longest in this pool. So Twist of Fate, I know once people start getting chunked with Grievous, okay, now I can start healing it off with Twist of Fate procs. Necrotic really does not matter what you play here. It's way more of a tank affix, I guess you could say. All these affixes are on the team to handle, so don't get that confused. But if you're playing Necrotic and normally play Psychic Voice, maybe you should think of playing Shining Force to help your tank out. Because 5-man Mythic Plus is, if your goal is to time keys, you want to do the best you can, bring the most utility you can to help your team succeed in the timer. Shining Force will do that when your tank starts to kite and you, boom, Shining Force the tank. Now all those mobs that are hitting him with Necrotic, now he's got a little bit more time to breathe and drop those Necrotic stacks. Explosive, another reason to bring Solace is for Explosive. You can tab target, boom, Solace. 1 Solace you'll normally kill an explosive target. Mindbender really won't help much in Explosive, so if you're playing during Explosive week and you normally play Mindbender, or for whatever reason play Shield Discipline, maybe you should think about playing Solace instead, like I said, to help out your team. You got an Explosive off in the distance and no one can get it, but you can't because you have Solace now. Let's see, Volcanic. this one is, you play with it. Like, Volcanic is just such a non-fix, and I love playing with it. But that's pretty much it. That's kind of this in-depth that I want to do. Talk about maybe what talents you should play with certain fixes that are up. Twist of Fate and Schism is, for me, is the one that I normally change back and forth depending on how I'm feeling. The Thunder I'm about to do what the fix lineup is. I made some comments on Mindbender and Powered Solace and their plays. Shining Force and Psychic Voice, their plays. Shadow Covenant, I didn't really speak on much because I don't really recommend it. I really don't. Like, if you want to play Shadow Covenant and you're looking for a certain fix to play Shadow Covenant with, my best one would say play it with Bursting to help you during that big burst window. I won't even really speak on the other ones during certain fixes just because, like, I don't recommend them. I really don't. So this here is my normal setup for every key I look at. And like I said, when I first started my YouTube channel, I was just trying to get to 2000 IO. And now I'm at 2600. Let's see. I'm at 2613 in season 4. And I am doing, that doesn't show up. I don't show it either. Oh, slow internet, there we go. And I am doing, these are my keys that I'm doing now. 4 was all 15s, 16s. I was happy with my first 17 at a time ever. And now I'm like, I just kept growing and learning and just kept pretty much trucking right through these keys, trial and erroring, and this is what I've settled myself down to. My trial and error with Schism, Body and Soul, Powered Solace, Shining Force, Sins of the Many, Purge the Wicked, and Lenience. These will have gone through some tough keys, with Twist of Fate being like the honorable mention. So hopefully you guys watch this video and are excited to see the next few videos I want to come out with for this Discipline Priest in-depth for Mythic Plus. I'm not like top tier by any means, but I would say I'm more of like middle of the pack for keys. So I have a little bit of knowledge with this. I don't know if this shows how many 75s I've ran, or I'm sorry, how many 15s I've ran in time. I think it's only the in-game. If I remember last I looked, my in-game add-on said I ran like 75 plus 15s in time. So hopefully you're watching this video. Take it with a grain of salt, of course. This is just my personal experience. You might feel differently about everything I say. If you do, let me know in the comments and what you think I should do. Maybe I should try something different. Maybe I should, I don't know, just think about it a different way. But hopefully you're watching this to learn, and hopefully you did learn something. And if you did, just let me know. Let me know what you guys think of this video in general. And I hope you guys are excited for the next few videos I want to come out with. Thank you all for watching.